What's up, guys? Today we're taking a look at Gravity. This is a really fun one to play because you get to learn some rhythm and lead at the same time. So in addition to just getting another cool song under your belt, you're going to learn some chord embellishments, some right hand techniques. It's just a lot of fun. So you're going to dig this one. I broke it down into kind of the intro and verse. Then we're going to get into the pre-chorus and chorus. And then I'll do the solo, and you'll definitely want to stick around for the outro because that's just a really fun part of the song where you can let loose and have some fun. So you're going to dig this one. Let's dive in. So for the intro, we're mainly going between the G and the C chord, but he obviously has that lead line. You're going to want to put your second finger on the G string on the 9th fret, and then the first and the third on the B string. So your first and third finger on that 8th and 10th fret. That's kind of home base for what a lot of these licks are from. So those will be really cool. I put it together in kind of a hybrid. He does that different every time live, and then there's the studio. So I'll give you the options, but don't worry about getting it just right because he plays it different a lot, and that's what makes it so cool. So in the intro, there's a slide up to that 9th fret. What are we on, 9th fret? And the G string. And what we'll do is instead of picking every note, he kind of hammers into that bend. So it's a slide up to that 9, and then we're going to go the 8, and then bend into the 10th. Sounds like that. And then for going down into the chord, we're really just playing a G bar chord, but we're embellishing it. So rather than the typical, you're going to hang your thumb over the side if you can. It just gives you a lot of flexibility to do what we're going to get into. But that initial one, keeping it real basic, is something like a... Ooh, got a tune here. Back in tune, so that initial one's going to sound like... And what we're doing there is I'm playing with my right hand. I got usually my thumb in first or my first and second finger. But you're going to bar the 3rd fret. And you're always going to let that high E ring out. So it sounds like, see, I can still hear it? And I'm hammering on from the 3rd to the 5th. And then here I'm just using my first and second finger on the 2nd and 3rd fret on the next set of 2 strings, which would be the G and the B. So I'm hammering the 1st to the 3rd. 2nd finger stays where it's at on that 3rd fret. And then 2nd lead line, or so again, you're really just sliding into it, playing that 8th fret, hammering into the bend. You don't have to actually fret it, and then kind of a release. If you pick it or not, he does it different every time. It's up to you. And then for this one, so what I'm doing is on the A string, 5th to the 7th, hammer it on, and then it's kind of my first finger's going to go on the G string, my 3rd finger's going on the D string. So the middle 2 strings, 5th and 7th fret. And all I'm doing is sliding them up, sliding them back down, and then bar the 5th fret. And then what we're going to do is just hammer into that D string on the 7th. So... And then we go right back into the 3rd lead line. Real similar to the first. That one's a lot funner and a lot cooler sounding, but it's almost the exact same thing. Instead of doing the exact same thing, the only notes I'm adding, middle 2 strings on the 5th fret. So it's a hammer on and a pull off. So it's, again, instead of... So if I break it down into 2 parts, that would be the first. And then it's... The only thing I'm doing down here is a similar pattern where I'm going to hammer it on, nail that 5th fret with my pinky on the D string. And here's where I'll take just a second have as fun as you want. If you want to keep it real basic, just if you want to have fun, you could throw the bass note in too. He's gonna do all kinds of embellishments, so keep it as light or as busy at certain times, as long as it's tasteful, as you want. And then that last lead line, that's really something that you can just end on. It kind of provides that closure going into the main verse. So you can either do. So we're doing the same as we're used to. We're just ending on, which is a 9-10 on the G and the B, in the first and second finger. Or you could get fancy with it. However you want to do it. When we hit that first chord, when he says gravity, you can grab your pick if you want. I just kind of keep it tucked away. You're fretting the bass note with your thumb, and then you're just playing the top half of this bar chord. So, as you see me doing this, I'll do it different each time, but going into the C now. So I'll show you how I did that, but it's all very similar. If you are familiar with those embellishments, great. If you're not, something you definitely want to take a look at, no doubt, is the caged system, because that'll help all these make sense. So instead of your campfire C, open C or a bar C, teaches you more C's that are available to you. You could just go up and down the neck with the various ones, and it makes the embellishments a lot funner. I have a video on that. For sure, check that out, because that's a game changer in terms of opening things up for you. Otherwise, let's get back into it. So when I did those, we're really just playing the chord and going from the third to the fourth, the fourth to the fifth fret on that G string. You're going to do that every time if you want. Just that little pretty embellishment. And for the C, instead of here, we're doing this one. And if you want to keep it simple, if you want to keep it a little busier, again, most of the time, simple is best, but there are times where you just throw in those tasty little licks here and there. So I think if you watch it, you'll see exactly what I'm doing. It's mainly just first and third finger for all of that. We're going to go into the pre-chorus, but something to note as we go into the pre-chorus, as you come off of that C, you're going to take your pinky finger, your fourth finger, and go to that B string, and we're going to walk it from 8 down to 7, so it's going to sound. Then I'm going to take it off, and my first finger's barring it, so. And then we're going to go into the pre-chorus. We're going to hit an A minor 7, so keep that third finger where it's at on the 7th fret, A string. Bar everything with your first. The only other thing we're doing is that fourth finger's going right back up to where it was. Which is 8th fret on the B string. Now, for that A minor 7, we're going to go to a D7. So now we're just barring it still with the first finger on the 5th fret, 3rd and 4th finger, 7th fret on the 2nd and 4th string, so the D and the B. Slide them up one, and what we're going to do is the 3rd and 4th stay the same. The middle one is going to fret that 7th fret on the, what are we on here, the G string, and then you're going to fret the note right here on the 6th fret on the D string. Keep it the exact same, but put the first finger on the A and then So if I play it together, it sounds like... This is the D7, G minor over B flat, E flat major 7, now D7, then I like to so pretty straightforward there. If you get those, it's really, what do we got, 4 chords I think, because the D7 you play twice. You've got the bulk of the song. You've got the intro, you got the verse, you got the pre-chorus. The chorus is the exact same as the verse. So pretty cool. If we dive into the solo now, something I want you to know about the solo is it's very melodic, but yet very simple in terms of the notes that are used. A lot of the things you'll see me do, it's on one string, and a lot of just sliding or not doing a lot of picking. You can pick it. Again, he plays it different every time live, but use your ear. You can easily hear if you just play a G major pentatonic scale. You can hear the notes in it. There's only 5 notes in a G major pentatonic. So we'll play it a little fancier, but just train your ear to be able to hear those things. So we're on the B string, 10th fret. Most of this I'm going to be sliding with 1 or 2 fingers, but we're going to go. And what I went from is 10 to 12 to 15. And then just back, and then slid back to the 12th and ended on it. And then we're going to go all the way up to the 17. And I'm playing it really slow so the note starts to fade away, but you're going to go from that 17. So 15, 12, slide to 10, 12, back down to the 8. So this part's really cool and simple. We're just going back and forth between the 15, 17 on B, and then the 19 on the E. So it goes. Now we'll do 17 on the E. So once again, 15, 17 on B, rotate back and forth 17 and 19 on the high E. And now we're going to go. All I did is bend that 19 and release it a couple times. Go to the 15, and now we're going to stay on the 15, but go to the B string, 12th fret. From there, we're going to go. You can hardly even hear that because he starts singing again. But it's just a slide up from the 14th on the G string. Now we're on 15 on B. You're going to go up to 17 and slide all the way down to 10. And then you're going to play 8. And go all the way up to 15 and then 13. Now for the outro, this part's really fun because you can turn it into just a cool solo, major or minor, which is awesome. So it's something like a... So what we're doing there is just hitting some intervals. So we're going to be on the 3rd fret on the high E, 4th fret on the G, go back and forth between those, and then we're going to 5th fret on the same 2 strings and go all the way up to the 10th fret. And then here we're going to go back to that same pattern we had down here, so it's going to be 1 fret apart. What's so cool about that is they're rotating back and forth between the G and the C. So if you want to stay pretty, you can do that. And if you want to go into something more bluesy like he'll do live, you can. All of it's it sounds really cool, and you can go back and forth between the two. Guys, if you dug this lesson, you gotta check out that caged system if you don't know it, because it's just a game changer. It's gonna open up a ton in terms of your knowledge on the fretboard, so you have to check that. I would recommend doing it right after this one, because it's with chords you already know, but it's gonna give you those missing pieces. So for sure, check that one out. Let me know in the comments how you're progressing, what else you want to see. I so appreciate you liking and subscribing. I always recommend you're gonna rock that journey, you enjoy the journey, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.